Look, my friends, buying a land in 2025, okay, especially in Nigeria, is just not the best idea. And I'm going to explain. Before you judge me, okay, I'm going to explain, okay? And once I'm done explaining, you can actually begin to judge me. Look, buying a land in 2025 is just not the best idea. What must you do instead of just buying a land in 2025? Okay, I know a lot of people want to buy lands, okay, they want to call themselves landowners, but it's very, very wrong if you just buy the land and say you're just buying the land. What must you do? First, there are four things that you need to understand that beat just buy a land. The first thing that you need to know is that don't just buy a land to keep it. What you must do is that you must farm on that land. Once you buy a land, try to farm on that land by yourself. Farming by yourself, it shows yourself, you are just telling yourself that look, this land belongs to me, okay? So whether you're receiving dividends from that land or not, people that see you farming on that land, they can actually guarantee that you are the owner of the land. A lot of people buy land from real estate companies, okay, from land dealers and all these agencies, and then they just leave the land there. Even if they've received the documents of the land, but they just abandon the land there and they call themselves landowners. But nobody visibly sees them working on that land, and it's a very, very bad thing to do. The second thing that you can do if you cannot farm on the land by yourself is that you should lease that land. Lease that land for someone else to farm on it. Once you lease the land out, people are going to pay you. So just like when you farm for yourself, you receive the benefit of farming on that land by yourself. Then you can lease that land. When you lease that land, people can pay you. Either it's going to be annually, biannually, or whatever it is, whether it's quarterly, they are going to pay you either in cash or in kind. So if you don't want the money, you can tell them the product that you gain from the land, always supply me this, always supply me that. And it's a very, very good thing to do. The third thing that you need to understand is that some people buy land in very, very wrong locations. Okay. So what you must do is called land banking. When you buy a land, try your best to secure that land by fencing it. If you cannot fence the land, at least let there be some things that you know that you are the owner of that land, so that you can do what I call land banking. Land banking is what I call buying a land and letting it remain for a period of time. Maybe you can resell it after 2 years or 3 years. Look, so it's just not about buying a land in 2025. It's not a very good idea. When you buy the land, have intentions for that land. Whether you want to leave it there to improve in value, because land is actually a cash flow asset. Land is actually an asset. And I'm telling you, it's going to appreciate in value every single time. So the last thing I need you to consider is just actually a point, okay? Is that you need to know that the location where you buy your land matters. So don't just go outside and buy a land and say, oh, I'm a landowner, I'm a this or I'm a that. A lot of people go and buy land in very good locations, okay? But then they find out that the documents of that land are very, very wrong, okay? And they lose the land and they lose the money. So make sure that before you buy a land, you confirm the identity of the people that sell the land to you, and then you can buy for yourself that this land belongs to you. And always know that, like always, I always tell you that land appreciates in value because it's an asset. And in everything that you try to get adequate knowledge about lands, okay? Don't just buy a land because you're buying the land and call yourself a landowner. Have intentions for the land. Try to farm on it or lease the land or bank on the land. And this way, I'm telling my friends, is the one sure way for you to receive money on every single way that you process on the land. And like always, my friends, I'm rooting for you, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.